I'm asked by a lot of people, what book should you read first? If you're a new drummer and you're trying to learn how to play the drums, you need a good place to start. And this is usually the book that I start my students on. And I've also used this book too myself when I was a kid. This particular book by Roy Burns is the book that I started with also. Inside this book, the first couple of pages that you'll see will cover the basic rudiments, the Nard standard rudiments. It'll introduce you to the single stroke roll, the double stroke roll, 5-stroke roll, 6-stroke, 7-stroke, 9-stroke, 10-stroke, 11, etc. The single paradiddle, double paradiddle, triple paradiddle. It'll show you every important rudiment, every fundamental rudiment at least, inside of this book. This book will also teach you how to read very basic 4/4 timing, 2/4 timing. I think it introduces you to 6/8 later on in the book. But it's a very good book if you're over the age of maybe 12 years old to adult, because it doesn't involve pictures. But this is a very good first book if you want to learn how to read. The next book I have here is the intermediate level of the same book by Roy Burns. All right, so after you're done with this book, you would advance into this book. By the time you're done with this first and second book, you should be a pretty decent reader where you could pick up other books and learn on your own. So after you're done with these two books, I would suggest that the next book that you go into would be Around the Drums with Triplets Part 1 by Paul Capozzoli. Now, this book I also, this was my first book that I used to read around the set. This author here, Paul, has written many books. He's written a Part 2 down here, as you can see. He's written a Part 3. He's got other books around the drums with open rolls. He's got paradiddles around the set. He's got around the drums with rhythm. These are very good books. Here's the second one here. These are very good books for reading around the set and learning. Now, it's good to actually, after you do like the first one or two books of his, go into explore more of his books by Paul. You should pretty much every successful drummer would have pretty much every one of Paul's books in your library. Now, there's other books that, like this one here, 1001 Drum Grooves. There's books out there that are very good, okay? And there's books that are just marketing, okay? Now, you could tell pretty much right off the bat which one is marketing and which one is actually teaching you something. So, for instance, if the cover is completely filled with a band, or they're talking about Led Zeppelin, or they're idolizing something other than learning the drums on the cover of the book, you immediately know that it's a bad book because they're just selling you stuff. See, this book here is very plain. The cover by Paul. It's a book that's very old. I think it was written probably in the 70s. I think. Let me see. Let's check this one. Yes, 1979 was one of the Paul books. Now, you see here how you have Led Zeppelin. Here's a good example. This book here is not what you buy when you want to learn how to play the drums. It's just going to be full of marketing. This is a good book. This is a good book. This is a famous book. This is a good book. This is an book. This is This is a good book, good book, good book. Okay? Now, over here, we covered this one already. Now, this is a very famous book. I think this is the #1 seller for Amazon for drummers. This book doesn't really teach you anything. It's just full of exercises. You read from the beginning to the end of the book, and you just follow the coordination that it says. It says right, left, right, left, 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 right, left, right, left, back and forth throughout the entire book. And the idea is to just play it as fast as possible until you break. All right. So this book is, I think it's like 100, maybe 50 pages or so. Yeah, 50 pages, and it's just 50 pages worth of repetition. But it really doesn't teach you anything. Famous book though. Okay, here's your 1001 Drum Grooves, another kind of famous book. it doesn't really teach you the beats. It just shows and presents the beats. So you have to know how to read first before you could try to read this book. Okay? And then you have this book, which is Drum Solos and Fill-Ins. This is a good book to learn. After you go through the Paul books, you go through these books, the Ted Reed books. These are good books. And Syncopation is another famous one by Ted Reed. That's a good snare drum book. It's all snare drum stuff. Oh, and I can't forget to talk about my own book. I'm D. Mark Agostinelli. And this book here is the Drum Rudiment Bible. And this book has the largest collection of drum rudiments around. So if you're interested in learning the drum rudiments, most books cover only 40 drum rudiments. This book is the only book that has all 500 rudiments, which include 460 hybrid rudiments, okay, which are kind of rare. And the way you learn them is through learning through mouth to ear, somebody teaching it to you, showing it to you. Some universities will teach it to you, but this book will show you the 26 nard plus the 14 PAS rudiments. Then it'll go into 460 extra rudiments that are hybrids, and they're fun to know, fun to learn. And there are other books that I have published recently. The 5-stroke roll drum rudiment. This covers mainly the 5-stroke roll, the 6-stroke roll, 7-stroke roll, the single paradiddle, the double-stroke drum rudiment, the drag drum rudiment, the drag, the triple paradiddle. I got some in Spanish, the 7-stroke, etc. These are all good books if you want to help develop your rudiments individually. But this one is the Drum Rudiment Bible, which has 500. They're not exercise books. They just show you, present to you the actual rudiment itself. It's up to you to practice it. These other books, like the 5-stroke roll drum rudiment, this is an exercise book. So it'll present the rudiment to you at the beginning, and then the remaining part of the book are exercises. Okay? And those are my books that I would say that I would suggest that you get it, you should purchase in the near future if you're interested in learning how to play. All these books that I've presented to you will bring you up to intermediate level, and there's no reason to buy really any other book. Okay, and that's it.